Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to PCM24 Yeti. It's episode number 35. We're at the tour of Hungary. Let's get back to that in a second. We're just looking for another opportunity to get that last win we need. But speaking of that last win we need, I think I've dramatically underestimated just how difficult it is for us to secure those victories, and really have taken for granted the fact that an expanded calendar isn't necessarily making life easier on us. With a smaller pro calendar a year ago, it was really easy to focus in on a handful of key objectives, bring all the best riders, bring them on, for the most part, fitness peaks or at least objectives, and get the most out of the team, which resulted in getting the wins we needed here and there, and leaving us with an almost completely closed window by the end of the season. So heading into this season, we triple our pro calendar. Woohoo! We get a bunch of objectives, and I put everything into those specific objectives. I take for granted all these other races where we were able to get results before, and it was like, but we have more depth, we'll be fine. So far, that's not really been the case, and we've been close. We've had a second, we've had good results, but we've also been quite far off quite a few times. And with 35k left to go on this sprint stage, none of our top guys are here. This is a B team, if you've ever seen one, and you gotta wish them luck. And yet, they have as good of a chance as any we have had in this season, because the field is weak. Had we brought our A team, I would be very, very confident right now. Breakaway is nearly caught, so it's going to be an easy one from here. Some sprint teams are already getting set up, and most of them have like 2 riders to lead them out. This is a good opportunity, but it's going to be hard to take advantage of. Race day conditions all over the place. Nobody has made this their primary target, and yeah, it's... So we have a weak sprinter, something we haven't had in a year or two in terms of the level of quality that we're carrying into this one. It's also a small team. It's just 6 riders. So with 18k, we definitely don't want to push too hard, but I'm hoping Podium can start to stretch the field. At the moment, Sofia can't even get on his wheel. And behind Chang, Lubers is struggling to get on his wheel. So getting out front is an obvious, important thing. But at the moment, we're not able to do so. We're not able to stretch, and this is what happens with the new kind of mechanics surrounding sprints, where there's actual lead outs and teams get really wide and squeeze the space, and it's hard to get in there. It's hard to set up a sprint train properly. It's easier to win a sprint than it used to be. The mechanics have changed. The acceleration piece has been improved. And Palmer is definitely going to get another shot here. But it's harder to set up a train right. It's harder to get your team into the right position. Sometimes you can do it. Other times it's just not happening. And as we go along here, and no team has really given us kind of a clear path. We're going to try to get a little bit more out of Podium and Sofia, even though it's only going to be a little. But then you're already into your last 3. We don't have that extra 7th man. And we don't have that extra pace. It's 8k. We're going to have to start accelerating. Get Lubers ready. Chang just bit by bit ramping it up. There's one last little hill here, but I think it's time. 6k out. Yeah, look at these guys on the go, really trying to push.
The finish line is getting close. The riders just passed the 5 kilometers road sign.
And here we are again, getting swallowed up. Sprinting for Sofia. This seems to be the only way. Getting that extra push. 2k. Lubers is there. Greenland is not. This has happened to us over and over and over again of late. Lubers gives us the lead out we need, but we can't follow because our the train just isn't there. Sheffield takes away the win ahead of Brennan and Brutomesso. We're out of position again. Lately, I've been trying to go earlier and earlier to get the train out front and get it established, but then we can't push hard enough. Getting through the field is problematic, but when we do manage to get through the
50
field,
kilometers to the finish line.
being able to push harder can keep us there. So I'm going to go back to... I'm going to roll that back, and instead of going earlier and earlier and earlier to try to get out front and establish, I want to be able to push harder to actually get out front, because over and over again lately we're just not able to get our sprinters out front. So now with 11.9k, hopefully, for the most part, we're in clean air. So moving on to Chang. I'm a little late on getting the what do you call it? The gel. Hey, words. I can find words. 10k.
Only 10
Is
kilometers
Sophia
left.
recovering? No, Sophia is not recovering. And we're at 9.4. Sophia is going to recover just a little bit. We got to get
While the pack
Potibar
is getting
ready.
close to the finish line, everybody seems to agree
Just
that the
trying
sprint
to
will be won
set a
in
better
sprint.
tempo, and even now it's not going great on that part. Okay, Gutstein 7k. It's definitely time to go. On to Sophia. On to Chang. We're 5.4k. We're 5k out on the last three guys. That shouldn't be happening until about 4k. So we're a little early on where we want to be with that. But ooh, gels. A little late for those guys. 3k. Ponomar's got to start soft sprinting. Ponomar, you're sprinting. Not losing 10 bike lengths. Oh my goodness. Ugh. If I don't have bad luck lately, I have nothing at all. That's all I've had lately is some really bad luck. We had clean air on the right. There's a left-hand turn there, and apparently the road squeezed, so he had no space, less lines on the corner, and he just pulled back looking for an opening. While he was literally supposed to be sprinting and accelerating and pushing past the guys on the inside, he does the opposite, and he tucks in way behind where he was, and yikes. But again, we weren't out front, so a sprint becomes irrelevant. I need to push even later, and see what we could do, because that still was rolling it back to 97s, and other teams are just faster on their setup. The necessity to push later and later has gotten even more important as Lubers crashed all alone earlier in this stage and has withdrawn from the race. So we now have an injury on the team. Chang is now pulling us out front at a higher tempo, but so far Ponomar can't follow. So back off a little bit for now. And what is up with Ponomar and trying to hug the gutter while being completely ineffective? The other side's open, so we'll see if we can get the team to come on through. But Ponomar not making much of an effort here to, get up there behind Chang. 6.8k. It's already the final stretch, so Ponomar to take over. Can Ponomar actually get us out front? 5.4k. Final gels. Sophia will take over. Sophia's out front. Gottstein's out front. Grunland's not far off, but here comes other teams that are just faster. We just cannot get up with their pace. So Sophia is going to have to start sprinting. We got to go early. We've got to go early. We've got to try to get into some clean air. Gottstein is been sprinting for quite some time and unable to actually sprint. Gottstein is able to get into a little bit of space. The red bar hangs on till right before the finish, and Gottstein nearly takes the victory, but doesn't even manage to podium. Coyne, Ian Williams, Serrano, Gottstein gets fourth ahead of Mark Hershey. Grunland, who he was leading out and was less than a bike length behind, was 13th and unable to get through the crowd. Much better performance. Going later definitely has worked better for us up to this point. Saves that red bar, saves that energy that little bit longer. Go hard, but go hard a little bit later. For the moment, we're going to go roll it back to that strategy because it did work pretty well for us. As the team got better, I felt stretching it out, getting out front earlier would be better, but right now we're just not able to get out front. We don't have the flat ratings to put us in a position. This was a huge bunch. There was riders freaking everywhere. Top 20 were a bike length and a half apart. Well, that's painful. It's a fractured skull for Lubers. Hope it gets well soon. Stage 4, multiple crashes, splits in the field. Eventually, the peloton is 80. Ponamar was among those who had crashed and had been left behind but regained contact. We've got some okay race day condition with Grönlund on a 5 and Gutstein on a +1. And as we are down to 7.8k, I'm down to 4 riders, so it's a little tough from here to try to go full gas, but for once I'm actually out front, and a lot of the field's not too interested in pushing full gas right now. But again, already 6k, and Sophia's got to carry on a little bit longer. Final gels. There's a couple teams making their way back up beside us. 4k. For now, this is the best shape we've been in ages. But we're coming up on that 3k, and Chang has got to sprint. Soft sprint. Gutstein going really early. But Grönlund not feeling it at all. Grönlund, this is a great lead out. But does Grönlund have the pace now to beat somebody else in a head-to-head? Oh, they both run out. He beats the guy head-to-head, and then everybody else comes rushing past as they run out of steam 60 meters before the end, if that. Brennan, Williams, De Gent. We slip
The riders bringing up their rear have made it through
to fourth.
willpower.
Grönlund's still there,
This
fourth
stage was
place.
a real
Gosh,
strength
I
test.
started looking down further, going. He dropped back a bit. It was only fourth. Missed the podium again. Missed the podium again. That was the best chance we had. That was the best setup we had in ages. But as we were in that scenario of we had to push a little bit earlier than we wanted to because we didn't have the extra rider because of the injury, we found ourselves having to sprint too early. Grönlund held on really well to Gutstein, but Gutstein ran out pretty quick. And Grönlund had to start his sprint early, nonetheless. And came up just short of the line, just short of the energy necessary to finish the job. He was in the position, just bonked out. So close. Final stage, we're headed for the second climb of the day. There is a third, and the finish is on that third. We have no realistic hope to begin with, but the chaos of this stage has actually made that situation even worse. The breakaway has 8 riders as they are attacking now on their way up. The peloton is just 51, and we just reeled in that breakaway group. The first climb was from kilometer 0, and all but 2 of the riders from our team literally started on the very back row. And even though I immediately went up to an 81 effort level, Grönlund, who's got a 59 mountain rating and a 56 medium mountain, and there was 10 riders in the breakaway that were much too fast, or far too many of them. The peloton decided that was just not going to be a thing. And so by kilometer 1, they were going pretty much full gas. Probably not 99 effort level, but somewhere between an 85 and a 90 on effort level from the very get-go. And Grönlund and Gutstein went straight out the back. Gutstein, I was able to get him back in contact. We've got 45k to go here. We need water one more time. It's largely back together at the front of the field too, which is really disappointing. It's up to 109 riders. Once we caught that breakaway, the peloton sat up a bit, but not so much that the other groups are able to get back in contact, just the big group. That being said, this is not looking good for more reasons too. We're down a rider, Luber's injury. We're down a rider, Grönlund getting dropped, 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers into the day. But Panamar's got a -3, and he's literally our only guy who can climb, and he can't climb like some of the field. Even though there aren't sprinters here, and 4 out of 5 stages were sprints, teams seem to bring their best climbers to this one. Carlos Rodriguez with an 80 mountain is here. There's another 80 mountain, and there's a handful of guys with about a 76, 77 mountain rating. Much better than anything there is in the sprint. So as we head to the base of the climb, 16K left in the stage, and Panamar's weak, has no stamina. His teammates, the 3 of them are okay, but that's just not going to do much to help. It's really not going to do much to help Gottstein. We don't want him dropping back. Let's go ahead and bring it on down.
The finish line is getting close.
10K banner.
The 10 kilometers road sign.
It's going by pretty quickly. Let's get Chang and Sophia to gel. They are helping Podemar and Gottstein stay in position for now. They are hanging on to that position decently well up to this point. Chang just about hanging on to help Gottstein, but both of them are out of red bar. Sophia is definitely hanging on to help Ponemar. Ponemar's getting more and more tired. 5K left. 5K left. Okay. You know, this is not what I expected. I did not expect us to have any sort of chance here, but we do. We do have a little bit of a chance here. And let's gel for Gottstein. Chang's the most tired. So Sophia, Gottstein, and Ponemar. And let's see what happens with 4K left. 3.6K. It's very steep all the way to the finish. It's going to flatten out just a little bit as you crest at the top at 3K now. Chang, give me a 99. Give me a 99. Let's go. 2.9K. On to Sophia. Chang, help break any toe there is behind. We just don't have the pace to keep up with these guys. That's red bar gone. 2.2K. Ponemar is going to be on his own here shortly, and we're going to have to just tell him to get on with it. 1.9K. He's going to have to go his tempo. He's giving up a lot of ground here. 1.2K. Moving on up the order. Moving on up 500 meters. Sobrero takes the win ahead of Bagioli. Juan Pedro Lopez, Van Baarle, Bookman, the top 5, and we don't even crack the top 20, though Ponemar 22nd, I think, is probably a pretty good performance considering. Middle of May, it's been a couple months since we've had any internal development, as everybody is exactly as they were before. No, Ponemar has moved ahead of Hagland. Ponemar has moved ahead of Hagland. So Ponemar, training as a puncher, did add, in fact, he looks all but maxed out now. I think he's got just an ounce left. Maybe one more level. Barrador is all. One more point in flat is all he's going to get. That's as good as he's going to get. Really not good enough. Not a fan of what we're having to pay him to be around and be mediocre at best. So my list of monitored riders, my short list, includes 59, but it does also include the entirety of my team. Besides the couple of guys that I'm already heart's content on, they'll go as soon as their contracts are up, because like Gottstein, who lost most of his potential, and Stanley Sophia, who has lost his potential the year before. So subtracting them, our team, plus about 40 riders, right? Or just more than 40 riders. We've got 4.5 star guys, plenty of 4-star talents, but the free in 2028 list is quite a bit shorter. 24 riders are on that list. Just a few big prospects. A lot of 3-star guys at this point. I have nothing below a 2.5 star guy that we are potentially going to sign. I'm not going to go over the details of who I have picked out, but some targets for the year to come. 1, we want to improve our rating so that we finally make Continental Pro, which means we need 4.5 star talents. Having 3+ 4-star talents doesn't get you there. You've got to have at minimum 1 4.5 star talent have any chance. Probably 2 4.5 star guys. Hagland is the internal one of our 4 4-star guys who has a decent chance of becoming a 4.5 star guy before October. not there yet. We've got to wait a while yet. His last level up was, I don't know, January, February, or December maybe. Was it before he came in, started the season? I'll have to think about that one. I don't remember exactly where he was. But of the expiring contracts, only Zepinati is somebody that we are looking at retaining. So that being said, setting our sights on a few bigger targets makes a lot of sense. And Derek G, Langalati, and Kajicum are the key guys that we are going to get after. So a couple medium mountain / hills guys, punchy guys, and a sprinter. I don't care so much about that. I care about getting into Continental Pro so that we can move on to the next phase of this game and not get bogged down in Continental too long and see the database get deeper and deeper while we're not adding to our end of the snowball to the pool of riders. Problems though, Derek G made $46K on his current contract. Langalati was making 17. Kajicum only 7.5, a little more approachable. They're going to be difficult. And then on top of that, there's only 3 4-star guys, and only one of them is young. So we've got to watch out for what we get after in our signings. It's going to be a small pool we get after, so it's going to be fingers crossed that we can get them to green or even get them out of red, because we've already found that there were guys we couldn't get out of red in the past. Dossier costs are still expensive. Derek G is 20 points for his dossier cost. So going to have some decisions to make for the signings. But we've still got races to get through. We've still got objectives to get through. We've still got a sponsor to get signed. And that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.